So I'm Gemma and I'm a clinical trial practitioner.
And I'm Krishna and I'm a clinical trial practitioner. So we have a trial called the MATRX trial, which is led by the University of Birmingham, but we run it here at our hospital. And it's linked with a screening trial called SMP2, which is run by CRUK. And so we screen patients in SMP2, then if they find a molecular, they do molecular testing on a patient's tissue sample and blood sample, and if they find a specific mutation, they can go onto the MATRX trial, which is quite a big trial. It's got 8 different arms, and depending which mutation a patient has, determines which arm they're eligible for. I think it's nice that it's trying to personalise medicine. I think that's a really new and exciting thing to tell patients, that we're not just giving a drug to target all lung cancer all the same, like your specific cancer has been looked at and we think this drug will work well for your cancer. Because people do ask sometimes, oh, how many other people are on this drug? And you have to explain to them, actually, there are people on the trial just not having your specific drug because they've not got the same type of cancer as you. So I think the personalised touch of MATRX is quite nice.
Yeah. So I think one of the difficulties with the screening studies is that it does require the patient's tissue, and unfortunately there's not always enough tissue from their initial biopsies to get a result, and that can mean that we can't give them the result that they wanted, or we have to ask them to have another biopsy, but that's quite invasive, so it's not something that they often want to take up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's just about managing patients' expectations, and if you're honest with them from the beginning about the screening process and what the potential outcomes are from the very beginning, then they're not shocked or as upset when we tell them that we can't take it forward. Obviously it is communication, but also
time.
Yeah, I think it's
patients time.
Making sure they don't feel rushed or pressurised into doing the trial, or making sure they understand that they can withdraw at any time without their care being affected or anything.
Because we consent to SMP2 and do the screening part, and you might get a result back, but then you haven't even touched on what the actual treatment will be. But because they've gone through that whole screening process, then they might feel more pressured into taking up the treatment. So it's about giving them the time and the option to ask questions.
Yeah. And also letting them know that they've got the support. So if they do have any questions that they haven't thought of while they're with us, we give them a contact card with our email address and number on, so that they can call us, because sometimes you don't remember everything you want to ask in clinic. So they know that they've got that option to ring us if they need to ask anything. And I think we build quite a good relationship up with our patients, so we feel just as comfortable calling them if we need to find something out from them as well. And so it's a two-way relationship, really. A lot of our other trials just have 2 or 3 arms, but this trial has 8 arms, and things are always changing, or arms are closing, or new arms are opening. So it's just a case of having to keep up with all the changes as well. And each arm is different. So if we have a patient on, say, arm C and then a patient on arm D, they would have different assessment requirements and different scan requirements and different timelines.
Are different, and it's just that the knowledge of the side effects that you have to have is different.
So it feels like it's 8 different trials in a way, rather than one big trial. I was going to say, I think it's about the communication. I don't think you can run MATRX by yourself. You need the input from the doctors, you need the input from the trial centre, like from the sponsor. You need input from each other. I think it's communication. If you're not sure about something, ask, and use everyone's knowledge to...
And we have to be super organised, don't you?
Yeah, you have to be really
screen so many patients, so you're having to track so many different tumour blocks down, make sure that you're then tracking them when the results come back, to make sure that the patients are informed straight away so that they're not missing out on anything. We get referrals in, so it's then about making sure that those patients that don't come back routinely are informed of results, and their doctors, so they know as and when they need it that they can come back to us for treatment.
Yeah, I forgot some people don't even normally attend UCLH, and they've come just to be screened for the trial. So sometimes we get calls from patients, don't we, saying, have you got the result yet? So I think it's just about keeping up the communication and trying to keep on track of the long process, because it is quite a long process, MATRX is.
I think it's the concept of MATRX, I think, and being involved in that to identify new targets that could then potentially become standard treatments.
I think our roles are fairly similar. I think our role is just maybe not as well known. A lot of people just assume that we are nurses as well. I think probably nurses have a bit more knowledge about the maybe side effects of medications and the more clinical side of things. But so we sometimes ask our research nurses,
I think it makes a really good team to have a combination of nurses and clinical trial practitioners. So we've obviously come with a science background, so we've got that element of knowledge. They've got their clinical background, so together we sort of cover all of the bases.
So they ask us questions, we ask them questions, and it works well, doesn't it? Yeah.